This is the Conscious Hour. And when I was a little kid, I heard the words, "Thou shalt not judge. Love thy neighbor as you love thyself." And I thought to myself, why are we judging people all the time? But let's get into the reality check of where we are right now. And this is a good reality check.
The vast majority would bite your hand off for simple equality. Study the history dispassionately, analytically. In practice, whatever the defiant rhetoric, once you enter serious negotiations, Palestinians have always shown themselves ready to compromise, almost pathetically so. Yasser Arafat in the 1990s settled for far, far less than equality. The problem is on the other side. Let's be clear. Equality, the granting of full civil, political, and human rights to everyone, means the death of the dream of a Jewish state. Yes, Israel would remain a land containing large numbers of Jews, quite possibly a majority, but ethnic primacy, domination, would no longer be guaranteed. And for all we attempt to obfuscate the fact, that has always, in practice, been the core requirement of Zionism. The law of return, the right of any Jew anywhere in the world to go and live in Israel, could be retained, but it would have to be accompanied by a right of return for Palestinians. To say people of one ethnicity can move to Israel on the basis of a 2,000-year-old biblical connection, but those of another ethnicity, driven from their homes just 80 years ago, cannot, is patently, self-evidently racist and morally untenable. Just think of what Israel could be with its coastline and unique historical sites, the epicenter of the world's three great monotheistic religions. It could become a monument to the human capacity for reconciliation and coexistence. And from a Western perspective, just imagine a world where we don't find ourselves in a state of perpetual antagonism towards the world's 2 billion plus Muslims, where we don't find ourselves endlessly having to ally with dictators and monarchies in the Middle East, because we know that as soon as those countries have governments that reflect the will of their people, there will be no more cynical alliances with Israel. A world where we are not eternally morally compromised by our support for a state the vast majority of the world can see is racist, even if we cannot. Yes, America might lose its aircraft carrier in the Eastern Mediterranean. Yes, perhaps the CIA-Mossad relationship might not be quite what it was, the deep state connections. But then, without Zionism, how much would we need these things? And in any case, no one's going to stop the Americans placing an actual aircraft carrier in the Eastern Mediterranean. The idea that America's capacity to project power in the region depends on Israel is absurd. A peculiarity of the alliance with Israel was always that we managed to pick the one country in the region that has no significant natural resources. Again, apply rational, dispassionate analysis. What does America actually get in return for the billions of dollars it pours down the throat of the Israeli state? What's the cost-benefit analysis? The alternative is decades, possibly centuries, of brutal repression and Western complicity in that repression. Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich may revel in such a prospect. But is that really what the bulk of Israel's supporters in the West want? Is it really what Israelis want? In the words of the great Desmond Tutu, oppressing people makes you miserable. When you dehumanize others, you dehumanize yourselves. It's a horrible way to live. To psychologically sustain it, you have to close off the best part of yourself. Look at this photo.
Do you get it, folks? Yep. We can change the world instantaneously by just one attitude shift. And we can end this thing. But we have a problem. Israel won't stop.
A woman holds up a noose and a lethal injection, celebrating Israeli plans to introduce the death penalty for Palestinians. Her husband holds a gun labeled with the word occupation, a plane labeled with the word expulsion, and a house labeled settlement. This woman is not some fringe extremist. This grinning, leering spectre is the deputy speaker of the Knesset, the Israeli parliament. This is what a oppression does to the oppressor. It demeans and it disfigures. Is this really part of our Western civilization, something we want to be defending and justifying? And if that moral, spiritual argument carries no weight, there is a colder calculation. The present status quo, where less than 8 million Jewish Israelis are able to dictate terms to 500 million Arabs, not to mention almost 100 million Iranians, is a bizarre aberration. It is a balance of power that cannot possibly endure. When and how the system of ethnic supremacy in the Eastern Mediterranean comes to an end is impossible to foresee, but end it will. And when it does, the Israelis and those who've indulged them for so long may well rue the fact they never learned to live as neighbors rather than overlords. The mainstream media
Can't argue with that logic, can you? Nope. So Trump's pushing away because Netanyahu's got him by the cojones. Zionists got our whole Congress tied up in a web. You know, they got dirt on them and dirt on them and dirt on them. It doesn't make any difference. Do what's right. Do what's right. What's right is let's free this place from this constant war machine. And if Israel has to fall, it falls. But Israel can save its own bacon, but it won't because of ego, because it believes in this psychopathy that they've been trapped in. This is the Conscious Hour, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and share this so people can better understand there's possibilities out there for a better world. And if we all come together and just speak out and demand it, hey, the shapeshifters want to be in power. Thanks for tuning in to the Conscious Hour. Please hit the like and share button, and please donate to the 501c3. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Have a great day.